How about now? Is that better? I think I had to change my microphone. Now I look surprised. Let me see. This camera is not enjoying. Okay, how about now? Let me know. Let me know if we're on the right Yeti microphone or not. This should be the right Yeti. Yeah, microphone default Yeti. Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me now. I should be able to hear me now and see me now. We'll see if this camera can keep up with me. I was just saying. Oh, there we got thumbs up. Red Squirrel. Red Squirrel is our background tech support for this broadcast. Good to see you, buddy. Always good to see Red Squirrel and hear from you guys. I've basically been gone quiet lately just because I've seen the the price of everything dissolve in our hands, much much like in the Avengers. When people just disintegrate and float away, that's kind of been it, where they're like, we're out of sellers. It's like, actually, no one has anything left to sell except for a handful of people. And we saw our little spike and dump recently. And listen, there's only a handful of people with that much money to spike it and that much money to dump it. So it's like that meme of Spider-Man where everyone's, pointing at each other, the three Spider-Man. We got Hero in the house. It's just Hero's coming in off of X. Yeah, there we go. And he's live. Yes, thank you very much for the love. Shouts out. It's good to see you. So price only go up now, right? Well, that's a great question. And let me try to look decent in my work uniform. I was listening to Sami, and Sami said something which I'm sure someone has said this before, but it just made sense when Sami said it. He said, the bull market is over when we run out of sellers. And sorry, the bear market is over when we run out of sellers. And the bull market is over when we run out of buyers. So looking at the situation that we find ourselves in, worldwide, globally, politically, inflationally, job-wise, it's not great. It's not great. The whole world is kind of upside down and weird, and nothing's functioning right. It feels like we're transitioning from the old guard to the new guard, but not in one swift movement. This feels like a phase of the old world before the internet. Like I truly believe that the internet's change on communication and the speed of things is still being felt. And then on top of that, you have crypto disrupting the way the story or the narrative that people are being told about money. Money, energy, where energy comes from, skill, labor, resources. All of that's kind of has a new spin on that narrative. And then I'm not even dropping into the alien shit, people. The aliens show up, and that messes with a lot of narratives about religion, spirituality, God, things of that nature. So there's just like, I don't know. And then here in the US, if you're in the US, you have very, very divided age groups, and you got very divided I don't even want to say ethnic groups. I would say just belief systems within those groups. You got the boomers. God bless the boomers, and they think and feel and believe one way and control a certain amount of resources, and that's them. Then you got the Gen Xers, myself included, where we're right on their heels. We're the first generation to have the internet show up, so we know life before the internet and after the internet, and it kind of makes us a very unique an interesting generation. And then of course you got boomers, zoomers, Y, Gen Z. Like, I honestly, you have the 100-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, and the 12-year-olds. I put them in three different classes, but they all have three distinct different beliefs on money, technology, government, what government should be, what it shouldn't be, what it should do for you, what it shouldn't do for you, all that stuff. It says your screen is black. I believe it. I must be that 5G solar flare. Maybe. Yeah, let me know if my screen's black, then I will refresh my screen. It's working on my end, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Let me check on X. Yeah, on X, it looks like it's still going. So like I said, it's not just the fact that the 4-year cycle has been broken, completely broken, which people like RH are like, yeah, I'm glad it's broken, blah, blah, blah. That's not really a good thing for people trying to time the market. Now, granted, if you try to time the market, most of the time you'll be wrong. That time in the market is better than timing the market. That's totally true in my experience. However, if you can't get the market right, timing the bulls and bears, then within a year or 2 years, if you're a year or 2 year off, then timing the market does matter. Like, if you're not like okay, this year it's champagne wishes and caviar dreams, and then this year is whatever else. Hang on one second. So yeah, if you can't guess within a year or two when to take profits and when to DCA in, then it's very, very difficult to participate in any market. What would you say on the rate cut today? Asks. We'll call him Rambo. We'll call him Vets. We'll call him Jake. I would say I hope that they cut it like 5 full points. Honestly, like, those crackheads have no business playing with the levers of our world. They're nobody that likes you. They're nobody that's a good human being. Nobody that's connected to legacy finance and the Federal Reserve are your friends. they are irritated with you at best. You are a nuisance to them. You are a worker bee at best. If you do what you're told, you're a good boy, then they'll allow you to participate in their world. And we can tell that they do not actually care about their fellow human beings at all, simply by the disarray of stuff that we've experienced in the last decade. We had printing the money supply into oblivion, right? We've had a really bad cough that turned off the world economy for 2.5 years, just at a whim. We've had we've had assassination attempts. We've had all sorts of insanity coming down the pike. And so, like, outside of the insanity and drama that we have in blockchain, we just have like all this. I don't know. Okay, so it's like crypto had a few black swan events. Pulse Chain had a flock of black swans fly into the propellers of our engines, like straight up kamikaze us, right? And then it was like black whales came out of the oceans and messed up the world economy. And then like black planets flew into our solar system and just jacked a lot of stuff up. There's just there's a lot of things that I think there's a lot of systems in place that used to run a certain way, and now they're tweaked, and they don't run the way they used to anymore. And there's this little bit of like, I wouldn't call it a power vacuum, but I would say that there's an arbitrage opportunity when it comes to power, energy, narrative. And it doesn't feel like they're all on the same team of how to like rein the sheep back into the corral and share us again. Do you know what I mean? Like not just, yeah, crypto's messed up. Pulse chain's messed up. Pulse chain, let's just start at home. Let's start at home. Let's start all the way at home. Let's start all the way at home with Anti-Gravity Project. I started this project not knowing what I didn't know. Wasted a lot of time, a lot of money, trusted a lot of the wrong people in the beginning. And, just through sheer determination and maybe a touch of mental illness, we were able to like keep going and going and going and going until we finally had a finished project and we launched last year. But even after we launched, I didn't have the full, I didn't have enough devs, not full-time devs, but I didn't have access to part-time devs that would schedule us into what needed to be done in certain places. So we had hiccups, we had bugs, we had RPC problems, website problems, things like that you guys have all been more than you've been forgiving and loving and graceful and loyal and very, very patient and understanding with us. And that's why we love you guys to death, because not only did you bear with this crazy idea of ours, but when things didn't work out right, just in our project alone, you guys stuck with it. And yeah, that was, when I say that you guys are the best damn community in crypto, hands down, you guys are the best damn community in real life. You guys are some of the best people I've ever met in real life. You really are smart, ambitious, and altruistic and compassionate and just caring people. Like, I know some of the things you guys do in your non-crypto lives that inspire me, that show how much you're trying to improve this world that we're living in. And I'm not just, this isn't lip service or to make you feel good. Literally, you guys are truly amazing community. I love you guys for that. Now, like I said, totally had some problems, not enough money, gave away more tokens than we were willing to buy back. Did not know we were going into the third year and yet another year bear. We thought we were, as we've all said, the B word way too many times. I'm with Sami on this. I'm not saying the B word and I'm not saying the AS word because it's jinxed the shit out of us. So I will say, like, it's the opposite of top, right? That's the word we're not going to say. We believed that we were there so many times in the last 3 years, and obviously we weren't. Things can always get worse, folks. That's an important lesson that I've learned, is be grateful for what you have, because things can always get worse. Now, going outside of Anti-Gravity into Pulse Chain, yeah, Pulse Chain has had a bunch of problems as well. Some of them foreseen, some of them unforeseen. I mean, nobody saw, well, I certainly didn't see Richard Hart being investigated sued by the SEC. Like, that had an incredibly negative effect on the entire ecosystem. Just 1 second. All right, so yeah, that kind of stuff we couldn't handle. Now, Richard Hart going dark during that time, he probably could have given us a little more communication in one place or another, Twitter, what have you. If he's busy and he's cooking, he's busy and he's cooking. However, there were tens of thousands of people who followed him and supported him and went on the Hex journey with him for 8 years. 8 years. There were 2 years of development, and we just had Hex's 6th birthday. So for those 2 years, we were engaging, we were building, we were working together, figuring out the parameters of Hex, how it would work, what the supply would be. The T-share was born. There's so many cool things going on in Hex during those 2 years. It was really exciting to be part of the building of Hex. And then when it launched, the reason that so many of us stayed in Hex when it was 3, 4, 5 zeros, whatever it was, like insanely low for years, is because we had so much belief, because we were a part of this process. We were part of watching this Hex being born and developed in whatever kind of womb, electronic womb you want to talk about, right? So we stayed there, and it was exciting and a lot of fun. All the way up to 50 cent Hex was one of the coolest rides of our lives. Even people that jumped in right before, like bought 10 cent Hex and rode it up to 50 cents, they remember they part of that. So that's kind of where the thing changes. Because I mean, during 50 cent Hex, we were all completely raped and beaten over the head and taken for advantage of by everything that we touched in Ethereum. Uniswap, we made that one, put a lot of volume and energy through there. Ethereum hit us with $30 to $300 gas fees. I remember paying $300 gas fees, doing some trades and some switches back in the day, and I wouldn't say not thinking anything of it, just because it was euphoria and it was the bull run. But still being like, holy cow, because I would send my brothers and sisters $1 of Ethereum, and that $1 of Ethereum would get them through buying, exchanging, staking, unstaking, because it was all like less than a penny, a few pennies here, 10 cents there, and then we saw those fees go up to 300. Obviously a problem. Obviously something needed to be done, and Pulse Chain was born. With Pulse Chain, we were told again 6 months. It was, closer to 2 or 3 years. I got stuck with a beard that looked like a rejected Muppet on my chest for about 2 years, because I did no shave till Pulse Chain, which, what a fool I was. So, but we believed in this, and then it finally launches into the beginning of the worst bear market in history in crypto. What's up, Smo Spider? So good to see you. So good to see you, Smo. So we didn't think it would be down. I don't think Richard thought it was going to be down hard, down to the right for so long. And the 4-year cycle, well, let's say 4.5-year cycle, because I don't think anyone was really expecting Bitcoin to peak right around 4 years again. I think we were expecting for 4.5 years. It looks like it might be 5 years cycle. I think everything's been delayed 6 months to a year and a half, 6 to 18 months. I think that's a good time to look forward to, because Ethereum hasn't even gotten off the floor, really, honestly, in crypto terms. It went up and tapped its previous all-time high. That's it. And people are like, well, the Ethereum organization always sells a bunch of Ethereum, the Ethereum Foundation. They do. But there's a difference between them just dumping because they're crackheads and them dumping as crackheads with alphabet boys in suits over their shoulders telling them to do it. The chart, if you look at the chart of Bitcoin leading up to 65, 68K, you will see a lot of market manipulation by the alphabet boys and by those wonderful people that I was talking about earlier, who are part of the Federal Reserve and the large institutional financial institutions, right? Because these people are not your friends. They're not part of government. No one elects them. No one tells them what to. They're the ruling class. The ruling class manipulates things to their advantage. I guess that's the whole point of being. If you're in the ruling class and you're not doing some shady shit, then what are you even doing with all that psychopathic power? Like, for real. Like, come on, man. So they were manipulating They tried to kill Bitcoin. I think they actually. Here's conspiracy theory time. I'm pretty sure that that Bitcoin was developed by or taken over by Alphabet Boys early on, because there's a certain there's a certain branch or what would you call them, sector of the government, one of the three-letter agencies, and this three-letter agency has been very, very busy the last 100 years, 120 years, let's say. This three-letter agency has been really trafficking in the black market, and a lot of the stuff that we thought of as wars and political power, things of that nature, they were being done by this three-letter agency. And the problem was, back in the day, if I were trying to do a bunch of dark ops stuff and I needed tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to move stuff here, to pay people to start wars over here, to pay bribe politicians here, to blackmail people there, I'd have to work in cash for the most part. And, back then there was a bunch of cash. Now there's really not a lot of cash, physical cash in circulation. So what these three-letter agency would do is they would use cocaína, they would use diamonds, they would use guns, they would use human trafficking, they would use black market oil, they would use so they would basically take commodities that had higher liquidity and that were all black market stuff that you would be thrown in jail, and for good reason, some of it, in the US or anywhere else, because it's pretty fucked up. And I think that when the internet came along, or at least the internet came out, it's been around for a long time. So cell phones, by the way. Did you guys know that we could have had cell phones 40 years earlier than we do? At least 40 years earlier than we do. Like literally, the phone companies were like, yeah, we don't like this walkie-talkie idea. And they just went like, and they sucked it all in for 40 years. Imagine where we would be right now if cell phones had come out 40 years earlier. We would have the best catfishing ever. You would never know if a female was hot or her age. The sex robots would be here by now, folks. The AI robots, the red pill guys would have their way, and they'd have their harem of sex robots by now if they had just given us the technology. No, but seriously, we as a society, and crypto probably would have been born a lot sooner as well. But there's stuff like this that happens. So the internet comes out back. So I get chasing these rabbit holes, and let me go back to the original rabbit hole. So the Blank IA are spending a lot of time and effort paying and moving resources around in the black market. And this thing comes along called Bitcoin, either with their help or, they find out about it. Because let's face it, folks, when you're rich and powerful and doing shady shit, you got a lot of time on your hands. You can delve into the dark web. You can delve into all sorts of crazy stuff. And so here we go. These guys found about crypto, Bitcoin, and they're like, wait a minute. We can just email each other billions of dollars. We don't have to move crates of human beings. We don't have to move ships full of guns. We don't have to move kilos and kilos and kilos of cocaine. And, and then kill the next guy that doesn't work with us, and then replace him and get some good, busy, savvy businessman in there to run the empire, the Snow Empire, right? Like, they don't have to replace their drug lords. They don't have to replace their dictators. They just can, hey, we can just get the Bitcoin here, email it there, and save ourselves a whole lot of work. And of course, they've always been tied into the big banks and what is known as the Federal Reserve, or, the 10 or what people say it's 10 banks and so many families. I don't know. We will probably never know who the actual human beings are that are wielding this much insane power, where they just get to create money and give it to people at debt. Like that's insane. That's so insane. I think that isn't the world like $32 trillion in debt? To who? To who? Who do we owe this money to? Like, think about it. Who do we owe this money to? Don't get me wrong. Companies will call you. The IRS will call you. People will call you. They'll say, "Hey, I'm from Chase Bank, and you owe me 10 grand." They'll do that. But if you've asked them where they got the money and where they got the money and where they got the money, eventually there's like just a shadow and a question mark over their face. It's like a bad video game. It's like, wait, so who do I actually owe this money to? You'll never know. You'll never know who you owe all this money to. The mortgage, credit cards, card payments. They're just subscriptions. You know, as long as you pay the subscription, you get to drive the car. As long as you pay the subscription, you get to sleep in your house. And then if you stop paying that subscription, you lose it, just like Spotify Premium, baby. So let's see here. We went from anti-gravity had some serious problems and kinks and you know, lack of foresight. Crypto or Pulse Chain also did not receive the work that it needed. It didn't receive the coding that it needed. It didn't receive just the backbone. It was not built out. It may have been built decentralized, but it wasn't built well. Blockchain, Pulse Chain is blockchain is one of the most difficult networks, layer ones, to build on. And the only reason all of us masochists built on it and continue to stay on Pulse Chain is because of the community. That community that was built in Hex that rolled over into Pulse Chain, and we sacrificed our blood, sweat, and tears and a shitload of crypto for Pulse Chain to end up with like a very sad copy of Ethereum. Like, not even really a copy of Ethereum. Like Base is a pretty good copy of Ethereum. Base works beautifully. However, Hexicans aren't hanging out on Base. They're still, despite being shaken baby syndrome, shaken weak hands, shaken lettuce hands, shaken till we basically have forgotten our names, we're still here. We're still here. We're still waiting. Some of you crazy bastards sold your cores and jumped into the ProveX sacrifice. Now, I don't know when ProveX is going to come out. I think that Richard Heart would like to have it ready for himself to use during the next blank. I'm not even going to say it. You guys know what I'm saying. There's Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blank season. Okay, I don't even want to say season. I'm just going to say blank. Okay, I think that Richard Heart wants to have some really good on and off ramps during the next blank for himself. He wants privacy for himself, and I totally understand why. Because just trying to move some of the money that we've tried moving on and off chain has been a problem. You know, we ran into people at Coinbase, Gemini, a whole bunch of places that they're pieces of shit. Like they really are pieces of shit. The only exchange that I've ever used that has been a good experience has been 0x Coast. 0x Coast has been lovely, wonderful, moving money in and out of blockchain. I highly recommend 0x Coast and their partner, Old Glory Bank. They've been very, very helpful as well. Let me read some of these. We got Elizabeth Mack in the house. She comes in and I'm just like spewing this anger and making this rant about the government and aliens and evil shit. I apologize, Elizabeth. And I really want to take a look at your art here in a second, because she has some beautiful art. We have a bunch of art that has jumped into the J9 art contest. We got Crypto Cat. Good morning. He is praying for us. The blockchain is key. Yes, it is. It is. It is. And of course, the poet of the epic called the astronomers called it the evil address. Loving that. Happy that you're talking this out, brother. 40 years earlier would be dead of cancer from the amount of radiation emitting. Maybe, or maybe we would just transplant our consciousness into a robot, a sex robot. Let's see here, 100%. Thank you very much. Yeah, so it's a lot of things right now are a lot of, especially the things that are a narrative, right? Like, okay, for instance, anti-gravity is not real. Anti-gravity and dark matter are zeros on a screen. They're code in a database. They're and I mean, if you want to get really esoteric and really deep, those databases and those codes and those zeros and those ones don't really actually exist either. But we do. This intelligence and this consciousness that we all share, we exist, and we're experiencing this, whatever you want to call it, this life. And that narrative that we're sharing is one about the underdog. It's a narrative about hope. It's a narrative about fighting those that would do harm and take away and control us. It's about freedom and rebellion and hope and the future and altruism and wanting everyone to win. You know, that's the narrative that we preach here. There's even, like, you know, monkeys with swords in their arms and fat people named Ricardo Corazon, just for fun, just to put a little bit of dash in there. And then people's imagination take these narratives and they run wild. There's side stories, pre-stories, fan fiction, sexy squirrels. There's a lot of cool shit that comes from one narration, one idea, one story can turn into more and more stories. In fact, ideas are one of the only things that multiply when you share them, instead of, you know, become more scarce when you share it. So ideas. Now, the narrative that we have as a country, whatever that means, the narrative we have as blockchain, the narrative that we have as pulse chain, it's not great right now. We could use a better narrative. That's what I'm saying. And so until the narrative changes and the energy changes, then it really doesn't matter what we do here. It doesn't matter what we develop, what we invent. We're all going to be waiting for that energy to change. Chase Field says, that hat is fire. Thank you very much. This is a grassroots right here. I spent all my lunch money on it in Denver. And it's where you honor what is. Oh shoot, I don't have the book here, but there's a book that's been really messing up my life lately called Loving What Is. In fact, let me grab it for you guys. All right, here it is. This is Loving What Is. I might have to flip my camera, but this is what it looks like. This is she goes by Byron Katie. You can also hear her podcast on Spotify, and she's crazy. She is legitimately nutso. She was like dealing with a lot of stress, depression, all that crazy stuff in her life until 1986. And in 1986, she had this either mental break or epiphany, where she kind of came to accept things in her life and came to peace within herself. And she developed this thing called The Work. And The Work is basically it's 4 questions about your narrative. It's all about the narrative in your head and walking that narrative through a process and realizing, oh, that's just a story. In fact, it's not even a good story that is in my head that I've been telling myself. So Loving What Is, Byron Katie, the book itself is, I think, on Oprah's book club on Spotify. So yeah, right here, Loving What Is, which is basically saying, hey, we spend our whole life saying, this shouldn't happen, that shouldn't happen, he shouldn't do that, she shouldn't do that. And really it's trying to control everyone around us to make us happy, to make us comfortable, to make us feel good, to make us okay. As Michael Singer says, everything we do, everything our psyche tells us to do is because it thinks it's going to make us okay or make us not okay. If that makes sense. There's two things. Your ego, your psyche is always telling you, hey, if you get this, you'll feel okay. Oh, if you get that, you won't feel okay. So we need to avoid that. But it's all outside yourself. None of it's inside yourself. Your psyche does a shit job at inventorying its own self and looking inward. And this stuff right here, well, both Michael Singer's podcast and this one right here, they basically they ask questions. And when you ask a question, your ego will answer the question and your spirit will listen to the answer. So the way to bring your ego and your thoughts and your negative beliefs or your stories in your head more aligned with what is, loving what is, reality and the beautiful energy that animates all of us. The more you do that, the happier you'll be. Anyways, do we have a new Pink Miss Well? Look at this. It's like having this co-host here. Yes, we do have a new Pink Miss Well deal. The new Pink Miss Well deal is whoever sends the most Pink Miss Well to the Pink Miss Well address wins 100 J9s and I was going to say 20 dark, but let's say 30 dark. So you have until the minting is finished, which time to freeze my face and share some screen, baby. Let's share some screen. There we go. Yeah. So whoever sends Pink Miss Well, which ends in this one right here, boom, you got to send this token sent to this address, 8090 Pink Miss Well address. Whichever address sends the most Pink Miss Well to the Pink Miss Well address before, when's our next minting window open up here? Minting window opens in 27 days, 50 minutes. You have 27 days, 50 minutes. Whichever address sends the most Pink Miss Well to the Pink Miss Well address is going to walk with 100 J9s, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the mystery box did not mint in J9. So yeah, look at that. Out of this 35,260, there's like 2,900. 2,900 of these are the evil addresses, which will probably disappear, go bye-bye. And that would leave about 6,000 people here receiving the treasury yield. And then also, if this was going to disappear, this would probably disappear too in Journey 8, something that we have devs working on right now, actually. So that's good to know right there. That's very, very interesting. So Journey 9 did not have, there probably would have been another 4,000 or 5,000 minted here in Journey 9 had the mystery box stepped in. But the mystery box said, I'm just going to put this up for a Pink Miss Well deal and share my, give all these people the lottery and the treasury, which very benevolent of mystery box, if you ask me. So that is the new Pink Miss Well deal for you guys. And we're just going to keep a spreadsheet there. Is there a minimum bid? Look at this. Let's put the minimum bid at 1 million because it's usually 1 million that we do the other deals with. Yeah, 1 million pink mist well minimum. This should really be a tweet, but as you can see, I'm lucky if I stream these days. I've got I got so much stuff going on right now that I still haven't even sent a lot of the physical stuff from our birthday stream yet. I totally apologize, you guys, and I will. It will show up eventually. It might be, you know, during 2029, 2030, but you will get your T-shirts and stickers. And here's Pink Miswell right here. Look at this crazy dip that it did right there. Look at that bounce. It went all the way from like 30 bucks, 29 bucks for a million, back up to 38 for a million. That's quite an interesting recovery right there. What's Dark? Anyways, Dark and Actuator. It's a 59 cents. It has that same whoop-de-doo right there. And yeah, what happened with Pulse? And I know that Hex and Pulse both had like a nice pump and a nice retracement, but still it's holding on to it right there. That's a decent bounce. We're just praying that it's not a dead count. And then of course, PulseX I think is going to be the strongest one hanging on to it, what it's making. PulseX holds economic energy a little bit better, quite a bit better than Pulse does, you know, like, and here's Pulse. Yeah, Pulse has the same whoop-de-doo. It's hanging on there. We'll see what happens going from here on out. Here's Hex on Ethereum. Yeah, Hex on Ethereum had the same kind of little whoop-de-doo. It's still at less than, you know, almost around a tenth of a penny is all. So yeah. Dragon Believer. What's Dragon Believer up to? Oh, and for those of you that like F1, we missed our F1 stream. Hell of a season. Absolutely amazing. A very intriguing season at F1. Can't wait to get back into that next year. But look at this. Look at this dragon candle. It's just like, whoa. Crazy. And then this super stakes thing that was brought to our attention. It's got a nice bounce too as well. Dr. Doge, calling Dr. Doge, Dr. Doge, wake up now, wake up now. Okay, this was about a penny, almost hit 2 pennies back in the day, and we have a big announcement. Let's look at our internet money wallet right here. Are you shitting me? Okay, so I was signed in here, and let's sign back in, because I had to restart my browser. So check this out. Dr. Doge. We are Dr. Doge thousandaires, ladies and gentlemen. Celebrate good times. Come on. We have mined 1,000 Dr. Doge tokens. Clear just by using a graphics card worth thousands of dollars and probably a few $100s in electricity. We have earned $7.96. I don't think we're doing this right. But what we do love is we love the project. We love folding proteins for some of these projects that are working on illnesses and medical research. So we are looking to save the world. We are good boys doing science. And so I believe we will see a possible pairing with Dr. Doge and Dark down here at what we hope is the blank of the market. So look forward to that. Excellent. Yep, 1 million Pink Miswell minimum. Thank you so much. Let's check this out. Elizabeth, hopefully she is still in the audience right now. Let's go to communities. Let's go to the collective on X, and let's check out this. Whoa, we got some art contests. We have J9 art. Oh shoot, I did not add the sound to this. Let me quit sharing, then reshare, and then do this, do that. There we go. Okay, so going back here into our Twitter, we have this one right here from SY Sykes CJ69, who won the second art contest, I believe. No, second or third art contest with his short video of the astronauts out there. Here's this one. It's got 11. Very cool. If he wins, he's gonna have to put some logos and stuff around this to kind of indicate what project it's about. This one has dark crystals on it though, so let's check this one out. That one's cool. That one has 13 votes. This one right here, I guess I haven't liked it yet, or maybe I reposted with a quote. This one has 7 votes, so I'll just repost that one to everyone. Now 8 votes. That is cool. Again, not seeing a lot of tie into the brand, but he's got the votes. And then here's this one right here. Oh, I did a quoted. That's why it's not showing. I'll just repost. But yeah, I did a quoted repost here. And this is Elizabeth Max right here. Oh, man, with 14 votes right here. I love the balance that she puts to this. She uses the rules of 3 both horizontally and vertically. She's got the J9 tucked in right here, anti-gravity with, someone being pulled up and down towards a planet. And you got the logos down here in the bottom, nice and subtle and pretty. agproject.io, got AGI staring at, I think that's the Earth from somewhere out in space. This is absolutely breathtaking. Absolutely love this one. So happy to see her back in the mix. Winner of J4, by the way. Just absolutely loving it. So get on here and give some love to her. And of course, this one right here, I'm going to do a regular repost because this is at 11 votes. The CryptoCat J9 art contest and poem, definitely worth another read. The astronomers called it the evil address, a patch of sky that devoured every photon sent its way, a rectangle of absolute black where galaxies should have been but weren't. They aimed the great mirrors, threw light like spears, and the spears vanished without a sound. Years passed. The void only grew hungrier. It began to tug at neighboring clusters, a slow, deliberate theft of stars. Telescopes trembled on their mounts. Priests muttered. Generals drew up contingency plans for the end of everything. Then quietly, without announcement or trumpet, dark matter arrived. Not as a hero in shining army, but as the shadow that was always there, the unseen skeleton of the cosmos, holding spiral arms in their graceful arcs when no one was looking. It did not fight the evil address, it simply refused to move. Where the void tried to pull, dark matter leaned back, an immovable hush, woven through every galaxy, a lattice of silence, stronger than any scream. The black rectangle strained. It yanked at filaments of light, tried to rip the universe open like a letter it had no right to read. Dark matter held, not with force, but with presence, with the stubborn fact of simply being. Slowly, so slowly no instrument could mark the movement, the evil address began to close. Its edges frayed. Its hunger met a deeper hunger, the appetite of the invisible that needs no mouth and never swallows. One night the patch was gone. In its place, a faint blur of newborn galaxies quietly assembling themselves out of the dark that had always cradled them. The astronomers stared, speechless. They had expected war, fireworks, a cosmic battlefield. Instead, the quietest victory in history. Dark matter never even turned around. It just kept holding the universe together, the way it always has, the way it always will. Unseen, unthinked, absolute. Beautiful. Beautiful. And it ties into kind of the bullshit that I was talking about earlier. Sorry to cuss right after something so beautiful, but you got this, you do have this dark, this evil address. You do have this pit of hunger, of money and power. And I don't know, it's just this insatiable black hole in humanity with some of the narratives that we have. And all we have to do to win, to beat them, is just be. Check out this red squirrel is at 10. I don't know if people know that he's got one down here. Red squirrel's got one with BitBoy Leroy. I love the way his eyes gleam in this one. So cool. Yeah, get in here and give some love to Red Squirrel's piece. I love that one very much. Axiom Icon also has a very creepy whispered one here, I believe. Wait, or let's see, it's J9 Dark Matter, Axiom Icon.
Dark Matter.
Do you have enough dark? Team recognition 0x369. Ready for launch. Roger that, 0x369.
You are cleared for liftoff. This is Anti-Gravity Project.
Dark Matter.
Journey 9.
Do you have enough dark?
Yeah, you don't. You
Dark Matter.
do not have enough dark. Nobody has enough dark. Do you know why? Because it is becoming more and more scarce. That's part of the game that we get to play here, is we make dark matter more and more scarce as the game goes on. Only time will tell what happens to the evil address. Only time will happen only time will tell what happens to this supply. Let's refresh it right now. We're still looking at about half of the whole supply in the treasury, and NFTs is already locked up, half of it. Then you have the evil address with about 27% left that it's going to mint into the lottery and treasury. And then you got about 8% in the treasury. I'm sorry, in the jackpot box or the lottery. And about 26,000 of these 82,000 are gone forever, folks. They are burnt. They are locked. They're never coming out of there because they belonged to the evil address. The evil address was burnt before they could be scraped. So those are gone. And you got Mystery Wealth about 4. You've got Mystery Box with about 3.5. Then you got 1.3% in liquidity here. You got 0.5%, 0.6% liquidity there. You've got the Pink Miss Well sitting in here, which, Pink Miss Well sitting in there. And you've got this Mystery Well right here that has done some minting in the past. And then you've really just got, A2C7 with 1/3%. You got 40B1 with 24.24%, about 1/4%. You got 3146 with 0.17%. And you've got C1B22 with 0.16%. I mean, yeah, you go down here, there's several people that have picked up a few thousand dark at these prices. And there weren't this many people at the 1,000 before. And then, of course, these are all liquidity pairs right there. This is the burn address. 500 are in the burn address. But when you get down to the bottom of page 1, if you have 125 dark matter or more, you are in the top 50 holders. And a bunch of the top 50 holders are smart contracts and things of that nature. So I believe last time we did the math on stream, there was like 2.7% of the million supply that was not in the hands of these people up here, not even these ones with the thousands. So there's really very little supply. The great news for you guys right now is that, you know, dark matter it's on sale. Like dark and hex, this is the biggest liquidity pairing. We have seen some selling slow down from I think DC41, C6041 or something like that. I've had a few days without that person selling that. This may be our Christmas gift bouncing from as low as, I mean, this baby went down to like 43 cents, back up to 60 cents. And let's not forget, like this thing, our high is around $135. And this is insane that we're below the opening price, which is $1. This is back down towards some people's sack rates right here, which is absolutely bananas. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. So this is on sale. If you guys have $50, $100, $1,000 in some token that you'd like to switch over here, if you're not dumping it for ProveX, this might be a good place for it. Hex is obviously a great place for it right now. PulseX is probably a good place for it as well. And there's all these other things coming out, you know, Vouch from Fast Abdul, True2X. Shoot, there's 3 or 4 others that I've heard of people are really working on really strong. And RDev has a really insane loan protocol that has some of the best features I've ever seen. And there's just no shine on it. And so I'd like to start talking about that one as well, but we will see. We'll see. I got to focus on getting another button here on the evil address. We have the mint button. We have the scrape button. What do you guys think the third button would do if a third button showed up here publicly? Just throwing that out there. Switch.win. Congratulations to Rags to Riches on getting this going. And I believe this is connected to Railgun as well now. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, here's our little bull right here. That minting is going to be over. How long is it? Oh wait, the minting's done. Minting is done. The first lottery is in 4 days and 4 hours, right? 4 days, 4 hours until our first lottery. And looks like, let's do the math on this real quick. It looks as though we have 35,260 participants, and they each have a 0.016, no, 0.018 chance of winning, I believe, right? Times 3 equals, no. 0.018 times 3 equals, yep. So you have about that much of a chance of winning. 1 in 20 chance of winning, give or take, right? So 0.01, so we've got 35,260 possible winners times 0.048. Oh, it's 0.048. So it must be a 6. That equals 1,692 winners total. And then we'll divide that by 3 drawings. And then we'll round up, because you can't round down in winners. You can't win 0.16 of a lottery ticket. So it's going to be 565 winners are going to get their dark token back plus 25% just on the first drawing. And then 565 winners are going to walk with winning 3.75. And then the big jackpot right here, depending on if the scrape button gets turned on or off and works, then you would have 565 winners of about 7.5 dark right here on this third one. So yeah, that's going down. We'll be keeping you guys there. We'll be streaming that one. And if we can, I should be able to stream that one. And yeah. And then vaporizing. Let's take a look at this right here. Here's the blockchain checker for the evil address right here. And this is the contract address right here. So let's look at Journey table info. Excuse me. This is crazy. I don't think this is accurate. I think we need to redo this, but this one has 75,000 that were burnt from Journey 1, 66,000 that have been burnt from Journey 2, 54,000 been burnt from Journey 3, and then the lion's share of 48,000 burned from Journey 4. That one has the most of them. And Journey 5, you got 43,000, 39,000, 36,000, 16, and 0. No one has burnt any of the 35,000 so far. But as the evil address is taken out of these right here, you will see these pump up right here. And there is one address that has been nuking and nuking and dumping and nuking and dumping and nuking and dumping. It's, I, as a founder, it's kind of like watching your kid get beat up on the playground. But as someone who understands, once you give money to someone, once somebody owns a token, they can do whatever they want with it. You guys can do whatever you want with your NFTs. You guys can do whatever you want with your dark. It's your money. It's truly your digital currency. And so we've been tracking that, and looks like there's still a lot from that address in Journey 2 and 3, some in Journey 1, but we'll keep track and let you guys know how many are left there. Beautiful. Yes. The one and only Mandingo, Moneyface. I bought the dark dip and it kept dipping. If you need a stand-in dev, just let me know, Max. Thanks, Squirrel. I really appreciate it. We might need your help on a couple of things like fixing the RPC for the scrape button. We do have one good dev that is able to show up and help us a lot. He stepped in. His name's Lef, and he's a great member of the community. Him and Silly or Sylvan from Carpe Diem has also given us a lot of help and insight. So I appreciate that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. There's a lot of other stuff to go through, including, Actuator. We love our Actuator token. Pulse Market, we're checking these out. This one's, I think actually if I go here to the Internet Money Wallet, seriously, this is one safe wallet, folks, homies. Let's see this. It'll sign you out quick. Let's go here. Let's go to our NFTs and see if it shows our NFTs in here, because it's not showing up on Pulse Market app for some reason. Oh, now it is. It's loading. It's loading some of them. See if this pulls up our NFTs. Either way, yeah, there's a lot going on here. I don't know if that's going to pull it up. But before we go, there we go. Those ones, Journey 8 just has a placement right there. See, Journey 7 also has a placeholder. What about Journey 6? Journey 6 has a placeholder. Journey, I think they're all just going to have placeholders on here for now. Let's check Bitcoin really quick. Old man Bitcoin, what are you even doing with your life? If the 4-year cycle had repeated on time, then we would be hitting our all-time high, which maybe that's why a lot of people think that this is Bitcoin's all-time high is 122. I'm telling you, the people that own and that the people that sabotaged Bitcoin between 2018 and 2020, they're not going to be happy with 122 125, 123, whatever it is. This is not, I don't think that they're going to be happy with this. They weren't even happy with this when they double topped. So think about it, guys. I definitely think we could definitely go back down to 180 or sorry, below 80. But I think that we're going to punch up to at least 150 and see where that goes. And then I think if it stabs to 180 and tries to make a run for 180, that I think is the frothy, get the hell out, sell your Bitcoin time. But I think that I believe that there's still one or two pumps left in the Bitcoin cycle. I just think that the world market is just tweaked right now. And then Ethereum, look at this manipulation. Look at this sabotage. Look at all this bullshit right here in Ethereum. This is where the same people that sabotage Bitcoin between 18 and 20, well, now they're sinking their fangs into Ethereum. So from 22 to 25, you've just seen a lot of horseshit going on right here. This is not a normal. This does not rhyme with any of the other dips in the cycle at all. So I think that these guys are also looking to at least 2x or 3x the previous high of, $4,700. So I still think that we have 10K to 15K Ethereum run following the Bitcoin one. As Bitcoin starts to, people realize it's the frothy top, they'll start moving that money into Ethereum to ride the Ethereum wave. And then whenever that finishes, which like I said, could be 6 to 18 months, then that money will flow from Ethereum. When it gets too frothy, it'll flow from Ethereum into the blank coins, the blank coin blanken. I don't know. I said, I don't want to jinx us. I do not want to jinx us. So anyway, folks, so it's been a while since I've streamed. I have been quite busy with life. I'm going to continue to be busy with life. So I will be here when I can. I am on Telegram. I am on Twitter. Reach out to me there. I know I appreciate those of you that have been sending me addresses to send some of the NFTs to and addresses to send t-shirts and stickers to. I apologize for being late on those and appreciate your patience. But yeah, I'm hopefully as things calm down here, getting ready for Christmas, I'll have a little more time to do that. Or maybe I'll just send them to that warehouse where they're sending the tablets out and just ask them to take care of my stuff at the same time. Just make it a drop shipping crypto merch place, swag place. Anyways, you guys are amazing, beautiful human beings. You're here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. I don't know what that is. I couldn't tell you what the reason is. I just know that nothing in this world seems to happen by mistake. The good stuff, the bad stuff, the boring stuff, the exciting stuff. Everything seems to be part of this algorithm that is rendering a lifelike video game in front of us all the time. And remember that, guys, it's just a video. It's just an experience, because once that appears in the very next second, it's gone. It's gone forever. The stuff that we remember happening truly no longer exists, except for in our brain as stories. So remember that each one of you guys matter a whole lot, and what you do matters, and that each one of you have immeasurable, unquantifiable value just because you can hear my voice and you exist. So hang in there. The party's not over. It's just been delayed. That's my humble opinion. I have been wrong about everything the last 3 years, so just take that with a grain of salt. Speaking of the shipping area, the shipping department, Wild SJ appears. Good to see you at the end here. Yeah, the party's just getting started. No, you missed a lot of a lot of angry venting about governments and bad people in the world. and kind of like, why are we here? And I made a joke that I'm just going to start sending all of my t-shirts and stickers to the warehouse and see if you guys will do my drop shipping for my swag bags. Love you. It's good to see you here. Yeah, check out the replay. Feel free to skip any part of mine that's too negative. But I think the overall sentiment is positive because we're all just living out these stories in our head. And we all have our own universe inside of our brains, inside of our beings. And that's kind of what makes us so unique and so special. And because we get to choose our story, we can choose our experience. And that's what this, at the end of the day, that's all I can tell that this is it's an experience. So, and when I figure out the purpose for this existence, I will come back and let you know. I've rounded it down to like soul expansion or soul growth. I've also narrowed it down to, perfect harmonic beings in what you might call heaven or source. They're in this beautiful white place where everything is peaceful and beautiful and boring, and they just jump in that simulation that they call life. They just jump into the next body and they let it ride, and they come here and they have just these insanely intense experiences that we're having. And then they go back to the ether or heaven or source, and they're like, and I think all they do is talk about this. I don't think there's anything going on out there other than just like tranquility. And so I think we live a much funner and a more exciting life than even we realize. So that's what I've narrowed it down to. I narrowed it down to this is like an amusement park ride, or this is a place where souls come to grow through pain, trial, and limitations, and time and space, and all this stuff that feels real, but it's not real. Oh, Corey, what's up, buddy? Corey, I don't know if you're here for the Pink Miss Well deal, but whoever sends the most Pink Miss Well to the Pink Miss Well address this go round gets 100 J9s and 25 dark. Just like that. Maybe 30 dark. Probably 30 dark. So go ahead and start. And the minimum bid is $1 million. So you got to send 1 million Pink Miss Well to the Pink Miss Well. And then you guys can start, watching each other on the leaderboard and try to edge each other out and for the next 17 days. But we do have a lottery coming back in here. And yeah. But anyways, this is my proof of life stream. Just in case you guys are wondering where I am or if I'm alive. Just like Richard Hart's proof of life stream. And we're going to make it through this. So the money's coming back. The energy's coming back. The narration is going to flip. The story's going to flip eventually. Everyone will get giddy and happy and insane. And that's when we need to remember to take profit and enjoy that silly fake money in this experience. So love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao.